What's up, people? We are back. Even after yesterday's extremely long one. It was a lot longer than I anticipated, to be honest. But yeah, we're back. We are going to be continuing on the MSQ. We're going to try to get as close to Idoscope as we can before I have to go to work. So yeah, let's get right into it. For those who don't remember, we traveled back in time to see how the end of days actually came to be. We met Emmett Selk and Hitler Deus, and now we're here, to say the least. So, as the heavens burn. So you have learned aught more. So have you learned aught more of the final days? Yes. Then the journey was well worth the risk. No doubt your newfound knowledge will be a great boon to us all. Unfortunately, during your time in the First, events here have taken a turn for the worse. The Scions are running themselves ragged, trying to contain the spread of the blasphemies, but it's a losing battle. To try and ascertain where and why of Alizé and Alphinaud have been traveling all over. Of the regions they visited, Locus Ammonius is one of the worst affected. Thancred, Estinian, and Graha took a detachment of allied soldiers there to offer aid and succor to those in need. But the province is vast. They only managed to visit a handful of coastal villages. It was an accomplishment worth celebrating still, but a drop in the bucket at best. In the meantime, Yustola and Master Matoya have been making a concentrated effort to establish contact with Heidelin in the Ethereal Sea, but to no avail. As for Tataru and I, we've been keeping a close eye on the Forum. From what we gather, they've been constructing a vessel to ferry people to the moon, an ambitious project that has likely been years, if not decades, in the making. However, since we've seen no sign of it thus far, I suspect it's still incomplete. You also recall the proposal issued by Master Fortuno to the people of Razathan. Following their discussion, Vritra declared his support for the plan and urged those who wish to evacuate to accept the Forum's invitation. So far, so good, but that's where things get a little strange. Apparently, the Forum caught wind of the lunar teleporter in the Tower of Babel and decided to use it to deliver people to the moon instead of their mysterious ship. Therefore, to secure safe passage for the heinous refugees to the tower, Alphinaud, Alizé, Estinian, and Graha traveled to Garlemald not long ago. Trouble is, the capital was hardly the safest place to begin with, and now the final days have come to Garlemald. Shortly after our friends arrived, they were sent to rendezvous with Master Fortuno. Then panic broke out and communications were severed. From what fragments we were able to make out before the link shell went completely silent, we can only assume the phenomenon has spread to the capital. The others need you, PK Thunder. Please, you must help them. Having you there will make all the difference, I'm sure of it. Camp Broken Glass was their port of call, so you'd best start there. Hopefully Lucia will know where they are. There's no telling what you'll be walking into, so you had best take every possible precaution. To Camp Broken Glass. We've got an instance, boyos. PK Thunder, and not a moment too soon. The skies over Garlemald are ablaze, but it's... Oh yeah, look, see? Flaming skies are ablaze, but it's servants on the ground that concern me. As you well have heard, your fellow Scions arrived ahead of you. We cut the customary greetings short after we received word from our troops on the Magna Glacies. that the Forum's airship had landed. It was then that the heavens began to burn. I dispatched your friends at once to ensure the refugees come to no harm. I would have you join them immediately. Additional support is en route, but we will discuss them later. I trust you are ready to depart. Upon departing for the Magna Glacies, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. In addition, you will be required to participate in battle. Your progress will be saved, blah blah blah. Hold on. Hold up. Hold the front door, chiefs. We must go back to Charlene right quick. Back to Charlene. There is something I must fix. I must fix. I meant to do it earlier and I forgot, so we'll try to fix it really quickly. It's warm up here. Hold on. It's a shame I don't have any actual glasses right now. Yes! We're not doing that. Oh, Lord have mercy. Alright, let's see. That's funny. I wish I could just put the mask on. It doesn't change anything with the mask, right? No, it looks fine as is. Just wondering if it changed my nails too. It doesn't. So I can either show up looking like this, or I can show up looking like this. As soon as I find it. This. I'm gonna show up looking like this. Oh, the robes are kind of weird on me. you can see all my rings. I don't like that. Especially that ring. That ring is obnoxious. We're fixing this as quickly as we can, guys. Quickly as we can. It doesn't look horrible when you run. At least you got the wavy bits kind of accurate. Like the Emperor's New Ring or something. Yeah, here it is. Oh, you gotta put the Emperor. Need 2 of those. Well, now that I know. Still nothing to match. Really? You gonna do me like that? Let me get the both of you. Scared the shit out of me. Is there no Emperors? Here it is. I don't need to worry about earrings. Earrings are fine. Just gotta throw these into the game so you don't see these hideous rings I'm wearing anymore. Right. Why didn't that happen? Oh, because. Hit apply. Now you can't see the rings anymore. Good, good, good. Not dirty finder. What am I doing? Broken glass. That's right. Fist face, fist face? Or fist faced, fist first? 90 gladiator. Chess piece is not bad. Troyan, nice. Troyan gear is fucking awesome. I love the Troyan gear, it's amazing. You know what I forgot to do, guys? I forgot to tell people in the thing over here that we are live. In the Discord. Yes. We already heard us talk about that, so we don't need to see it twice. But now we begin. Earlier on the Magna Glacies.
No. 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 We were promised an escape. Not the same doom we fled.
Unfortunately.
I shall not meet my final days here in this blasted waste.
You think he will believe us now?
Calm yourselves. Your panic is our greatest enemy. Come, we must build a line of defense.
And then he sees his son.
How?
Leave the fighting to us, Father. You must lead the people to safety.
He's like, get out of here, Pops.
I can handle this pair.
You shall tend to the refugees. Let us be about it.
As you wish, my little lord.
My little lord. Lay down, baby. Go lay down. Okay. No. Back up before you start pulling on cords. Back up. What am I playing as? The Alphino.
I'll command the beast's attention. See to the wounded.
Diagnosis.
Help is at hand.
Lever your diagnosis. Lever your diagnosis. Lever your doses. Lever your doses.
Leave it to me.
Terminus Fire. Justinian, have a level your gave it to me. There is no hope, no hope. Oh, you stupid. Step up the sons of bitches. You're being overwhelmed by fear. Out and out, do what you can.
Those who can stand, come with me.
Everyone's turning. All is lost.
Easy now. Deep breaths. You're safe now.
Chill out, bro. Fortunately,
Worry not for the refugees, but for yourself.
Worry not for the refugees, but for yourself, boy. I'm fine. Don't worry. I'll be alright, Pops. I only hope my newfound abilities are enough. Starting to get the hang of those things.
Hard, but not hard enough.
Dude, like I put a shield on him and then he just takes another smash to the face. Let me come lay down. Lay down. Go lay down. Now, booger face. Lay down, okay?
Help!
Nothing.
Someone, please!
What?
Okay, lay down. Burr. I like how they're using the Odin thing.
No, 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 no. Don't. I don't want to die.
Forward! Let not a single fiend escape!
Guardians.
Wait, that's... Euless and the army. So, you've recovered then? In time enough to be of aid, for once.
Way to go, Euless. Good man, you are.
We can speak of it more later. For now, we must fight! To repay your salvation in kind, or with better! For Garlemald has her pride!
Good job.
Of that I've no doubt.
My dog looked at me like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Good gods. Of all possible saviors, the Imperial Army. Oh!
Massive explosion. Yeah, that was your other kid, bruh.
I had hoped to take all of them down at once.
Think a withdrawal might be in order?
Oh, sod that. You know who would never abandon these people to their fate. To be devoured by their former friends. That'd be beyond cruel. These beasts must fall here and now.
Well then, I'd say it's high time we threw caution to the winds.
So long as you spare me the heroic sacrifices.
She's never gonna let him live that down.
Now, let's go!
I don't mind playing as obviously, because I already know how to red mace. there we go. I was like, why wouldn't it fix? The holy, scotch. Ooh, not the bombs. Me curing myself.
I'm fine.
Ooh, that's fun. This could hurt. No dodge. It's gonna suck.
Not today.
Not today. Black Death, huh?
I'm not done yet.
Oh, now you're using short. Weird, healing my damn self.
None to worry about. The air crackles with energy. Find cover!
As they say, turnabout's fair play.
Remaining, but
On guard.
There's not the barest trace of ether. Maybe there really is no way to bring them back. Thank you for saving our lives once again.
Man of Palika.
I remember you. From Purusha. You helped us there too, didn't you?
Ah, you're from Palika's stand. I'm glad you're still in one piece. Or you will be, once I see to that injury of yours.
Look out!
Comes another. the trailer.
Get out of here! Quickly!
Except instead of the warrior life, it's
I
Graha.
won't lose them! Not a one! This will be a brighter future! I won't let a madman's apocalypse ruin everything we've fought to achieve!
Good job, Graha.
Get it together, Alize. You're embarrassing yourself. And in front of Father, no less. You might never measure up to our champion. But we ask too much of him as it is. You mustn't let Eorzea's hero fight alone.
And what is that in the distance? Walking towards you? Why, the one and only me, of course.
Oh.
This is precisely why you should never skip your squat regimen.
I can look after myself, you know.
Everything's in order, I trust?
I've had enough of this rabble. Come on!
Literally the trailer.
Oh, a trio for the ages.
Trio for the ages.
Just the beginning.
I had a feeling I'd find you here. This should be the last of the worst troublemakers. With me!
Somebody heal Graha. Please.
Now, where were we?
You must board without delay. The ship will depart ere long.
Your offer to host us in Sharlayan is most appreciated. But will the final days not soon fall upon it as well?
Your hesitation is not unwarranted. The satrap entrusted me with your lives, yet I have failed your comrades. Nor are you wrong to fear that this corruption will continue to spread. I cannot promise you complete safety, even in my homeland. What I can promise is that I will do all in my power to protect you. That power is not inconsiderable. Even now, my countrymen are preparing the vessel that will deliver us to a sanctuary on the moon. Join us on our journey there, and beyond, to new horizons. Come to old Sharlayan. Please.
We would be fools to refuse such a generous offer made in earnest.
It seems they've a new destination.
The people of Radzat-Han have known too much suffering. The march to Garlemald will only bring them more, short though it may be.
I quite agree. Fortunately, they have you to look after them.
Yes. Well.
Behind you! Just there!
It's the old guy again.
More of them.
Xenos! Here!
You'll be all right. Hurry to the airship.
Why have you come?
A heretofore unseen beast. 'Twas ripe for the slaying. Poor sport, alas. Unfit to temper my blade.
Yeah, I'm just out here leveling up.
Oh, for the love of... You cannot still be on about a rematch.
That is, and has ever been, my sole concern. You, on the other hand, are fixated on a different quarry. Your passion pales before mine. Yet neither hate nor despair seem sufficient to recapture your misdirected bloodlust. So, I hone my blade, and I wait.
That's it. That's all you care about. Garlemald is in ruins. Our homeland, the nation you rule, is as good as gone. Along with so many of its people. Not just soldiers like us. Not only those who fought and killed for power and duty. Innocent civilians. Murdered by their own flesh and blood. Lost and confused as they breathed their last. While we who survived with our lives and minds intact were left to freeze to death. The Eorzeans tell me all this was your doing! You slaughtered your countrymen! You did! For what?
For nothing, in the end. So much wasted effort.
He really just doesn't give a fuck.
You bastard!
For your own sake, Eulus, you must control your anger. It will serve no one should it consume you and see you transformed.
Would you be happier had I a good reason?
What?
If my motives met with your approval, would you no longer resent the outcome? If so, then perhaps a beast's skin would suit you better. Duty, honor, morality. All constructs of convenience when put to proof. Surely the war taught you how easily power becomes the tool of the self-righteous. How the people's justice was merely a means to their ends? Yet you would ask me why. Ask any creature of this star and those above for answers, and they will tell you what suits their fancy. And they would be right to do so. What meaning there is to be found in the petty vicissitudes of your existence must be gleaned by you, and you alone. Should you seek it in battle in the fruitless pursuit of my demise, then come. Assume your rightful place as a notch on my blade.
You are a blight on the Garlean race. And there would be no more satisfying way to expunge it than by beating you to death. But I will not be party to another tragedy. I refuse to lose anyone else because of you. So go. Go! And may we never suffer your madness again!
Xenos! Perhaps you found meaning in living this way. I cannot deny you found strength. Yet if you only pursue your hedonistic pleasures and pay no heed to the plight of others, then no one will give you the time of day. You will never get what you want, not even the battle you pine for so dearly. You'll be alone for an eternity, and you'll deserve every agonizing second of it.
We're ready to depart. The refugee ships will be leaving shortly, but I've asked mine to remain for the time being. There's room enough for you to join me on it, if you wish. Do contain your surprise. I needn't agree with the Scion's methods or intentions to acknowledge that their deeds are deserving of gratitude.
We appreciate the offer. But might I ask why you are delaying your departure? I presume it is not solely for our benefit.
I must visit Garlemald ere we return to Sharlayan. Having caused such an uproar, 'tis only meet that I explain myself to the Ilzabard contingent.
Allow us to accompany you then. We should be glad to facilitate, given our familiarity with all concerned. If you would like to join as well, Eulus, we can speak of recent events on the way.
He'll be after your seat on the forum next.
What? Sees Yuno standing there so uncaring and unrepentant. Gods, I don't know what came over me. I just blurted out the first thing that came to mind, but looking back on it, I stand by those words. I would say I hope they won't incite him to further villainy, but to be honest, I doubt he even remembers what I said. Anyway, enough about all of that. It's good to see you again. Stealthy weapon.
No major injuries then. Good. I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives. Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I'm addressing Lucia Junius. I'm the Forum's envoy, Forchano Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Goes on to explain everything, fade to black.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much.
It's kind of bugging me a little bit. Hold on. it's gonna do that too. I don't want it to do that. Kind of cuts it off, doesn't it? Just a smidge. So let's see if I can. That's a little better. Sorry, it wasn't lined up properly. The timer with the chat box wasn't quite lined up properly, and it was annoying the shit out of me. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to like stop what we were doing. It was bugging me.
You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere. Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time. In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships have taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were I expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions. Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuneau. You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Charlian alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn, and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us?
I swear.
Any other, I would doubt. But you, I trust to keep your word. For not once have you broken it. Very well. I will request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
It does. You have my thanks. Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait. Did you hear something just now?
Lopper it. The fuck?
Where is this star's blasted pudding?
In pudding way. Had y'all shown up a few minutes earlier, y'all probably would have been involved in some heckin' shit over here, bruh. Some fighting.
Dawn may banish even the darkest night.
Dude, he's gotta be freezing.
And to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort.
He's gotta be freezing.
'Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Aren't you cold? Yes, I'm
Verily.
freezing.
I fear for my health should I proceed to expound upon our purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
He's shaking!
Then allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Etheris. Oriange made it sound absolutely marvelous. More so before the impending doom, but still. And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Marvellous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Uriange's inferior works no more.
Hey! Maybe consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom? Ahem. As I was saying, should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Heidelin's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it? Aye, not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Oriange made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
Forgive me, but are they... thy distant collaborators, indeed?
Hail, fellow, well met. You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway.
He has to like break his neck to look down at her.
That last bit is very important. As am I, if I may humbly say so myself.
I bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Sharlayan, where you may advise us as you deem fit.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loperites made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart.
May thy disciples banish this darkness of nights.
I am no esteemed philosopher of Eld. Nevertheless, 'tis my hope that what little knowledge I shared shall serve them well. and perchance help save us all. Will thou attend us at the forum and lend thine own wisdom?
If that's all quite settled, can we start moving before Urianger catches his death? Even I'm freezing out here.
Oh, I dare say you'll warm up quickly once you're aboard the airship. Sat shoulder to shoulder with our fur-covered friends.
Pudding way off in the corner over there, just like, pudding. Must have pudding. What we got here quick, huh? I dare say Master Foshno was as nonplussed as we when we learned the identity of Heidelberg's lunar custodians. As he will soon discover, they have much and more to offer to the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? We may yet have time to discuss thy recent adventures ere we are summoned to the rostra. Sure. But first, inventory. I'll stop walking so that I can use this. God, those are big and bulky. Look at those things. Oh, and they got spinny things. Spinny things. Good lord. Spinny things. Good lord. Turn the weapons off for now. I don't care what they look like when you pull them out. I just don't want them there to where we can see them as we're running around. To the Baldessian Annex. Not that I'm complaining, Orange, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Theris, I did inadvertently awaken in the Loporrits a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Kryl tells us you have obtained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I have news to share regarding our study of the Ethereal Sea, but your findings are certain to be far greater interest, and so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Heidelberg's Elpis flower lead? Well, it's not just a flower, you see. It took me to a place called Elpis. I went back in time. Back to the future! I had to go running 88 miles an hour first. Then this dynamis is what drives the final days. If it is Akasha and one, if it and Akasha are one and the same, this all but proves Nidhana's theory. Were an entity through sheer force of emotion to channel this vast dormant reservoir into a raging river, its power might surpass even that of Aether. But if our star is so replete with Aether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamis of that great expanse. Meteion, or rather the sorrow and suffering of fallen civilization that she has been hoarding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose, the destruction of Atheris. Then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim, to defeat Meteion. You make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Meteion and we deliver the world from the final days, but to even attempt it, there are two conditions. First, we must determine her location. Before Meteion escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Vana, the woman who would become Heidelin. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Heidelin and the Vana you met in Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Heidelin possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share that knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee Aetheris, not to stay. Do you suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Medion? The Vana I know would never give up. That is my impression too, otherwise she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will, or provided clues such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. So, what is the second condition? We must find a means to reach Meteion. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely on whosoever she has made her nest, wheresoever she has made her nest. Communing with Heidelin must be a necessity come first. Did you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation into the Ethereal Sea? Sadly not, though we enlisted the help of Arenvald and other Echo-blessed allies. We couldn't detect so much as a whisper from Heidelin, even from within the antitower. Master Matoya is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Heidelin. If so, it would most likely be some form of apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea, built closer to home. Sorry to interrupt. We've just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required at the Rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. Then Father was able to persuade them. They're finally taking us seriously. Let's hear what they have to say. What's up, Shadow? The Forum is in session as such the Rostra is closed to visitors, explains. As Silent 7, done very well, you may wait in the corridor. Of course, entry will be permitted on the condition you leave your armaments at the door. Lest you forget, the sacred institution holds rational discourse in the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. You want me to leave my weapons outside? Get fucked! That's fine. Draw! Ah! I was like, there's gotta be a sightseeing log in here. Ain't no way. I was like, ain't no way there isn't. Just waiting.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the Forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
It's my girl. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus.
Yes and no. Okay. Lay down. No. Lay down.
You may
Yes and
enter.
no. Yes and no. That's enough. That's enough. Thank you for the kisses. Now lay down. Okay? Daddy loves you.
On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glaciers. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of Radzat-Han. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
We'll stretch.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharlayan has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat-Han was foremost among these. But since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
So basically, if they are fighting, we are not taking them.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This Ark, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on 2 conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the anti-tower had you no other means of communication.
Arena's coming
One
down.
far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
He likes it. He's like, yeah.
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms?
Quite a few hands. Quite a few. Ooh, even he agrees.
71 in favor, 28 against. The ayes have it.
Father said no.
Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
Very well.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was admittedly thinking on my feet for the most part. But since we require both a means of communing with Hydaelyn and reaching Meteion, in the spur of the moment I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the Ark as a way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the Aether Burner. I'd like to think it is not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. It might behoove us to learn how the Aether Burner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though. As instructed, I shall take you to see the Aether Burner. Meet me outside the Archeon. I trust you can make your own way there. What a douched canoe. So the Ark is being built in Labyrinthos. Hardly surprising. Where else could they conceal such a massive undertaking? Our destination lies in the lower levels. The Forum, in its wisdom, has granted you access to the Archeon's lift. Step inside and have Ophelia take you to the medial circuit. This thunderstorm outside is legit right now. You wish to use the lift, yes? Well, yes, of course. I have sent your associates ahead to Logiscon Alpha on the other side of the Miro Ergonomics. Actually, there is something I have been meaning to. No, never mind. It can wait. Let us attend to the matter at hand. This is perfect. This outfit, this umbrella, is perfect. Where do you want me to go? Oh, there, over there. Lord. Good Lord. Sorry. Okay, there. It's just gonna take a second. Nine quests. Back off, nobody's talking to you. I think I gotta go inside and then take a right. I don't see anybody out here. Inside the doors, hang a right. We are to wait here while our father arranges for us to use the next lift. Here being the Logiscon Alpha, where the atmospheric conditions of Labyrinthos are regulated. Water is drawn from underground and dispersed as vapor, simulating the formation of artificial clouds and rain. By manipulating the temperature and air circulation, they are able to create the ideal environment for growth and preservation of biological samples kept here. Hold on, how do you know so much about it? Why, Father brought me here as a child. What? And left me behind? Actually, you're the one who left me behind when you went off somewhere with Grandfather. The night before, I'd been asking Father how clouds are made, so he decided to show me. It was fascinating. I peppered him with questions the entire time. It is all too easy to take for granted the many interweaving aspects of the natural world, to grow inured into the wondrous. But having gained an understanding of the complex mechanisms employed by the Loporrits in recreating a similar environment, I have come to view such processes in a new light. The subterranean gardens of Labyrinthos, the lunar prison forged to contain the ancient zodiac, and the habitation built for all mankind neath the moon's surface, each unique yet undeniably similar. 'Tis no mere coincidence. Ever since Hydaelyn unfolded to us the grim fate that awaits Aetheris, every essential resource we could spare has been delivered to Labyrinthos in preparation for the great exodus. But that's not all. It is also a testing ground for the technologies that will allow us to settle on distant stars. Though the Loporrits have endeavored to make the moon inhabitable, that is not our final destination. Mankind must learn to propagate life where there is none, to thrive where all is barren. Alas, time is not on our side. I have arranged for you all to enter the central circuit. It is there that most of our preparations for the great exodus are carried out, the construction of the Ark among them. Though our plans have been made public, access remains highly restricted. You, however, will not be subject to said restrictions and will have free reign to come and go as you please. Such was the will of the Forum, after all. We will prove ourselves worthy of their trust, your trust. Then let us proceed. That's right. Papa Levior being told what's what by the Forum. And they even told him, hey, just because you got some personal issues with your kids does not mean you can disobey us. You're going to do what we tell you to do. It is by the decree of the Forum that the Scions of the Seventh Dawn may proceed to the Central Circuit. Where's the crystal? The crystal's over yonder. We gotta go that way. We must be able to teleport. The Aether Burner is being constructed not far from here. Overseeing the work is Coco Dankol, after whom the forge is named. Once the necessary introductions have been made, I shall leave you with him to discuss the particulars. This way. No, there's a crystal that way. We're going that way. I need to be able to teleport while I'm out here, so I'm just going to go grab this crystal right quick. I know it seems like I'm basically going the wrong way, because I am. 71 northwest, which means it's like right there. I can see it. Well, we're here. I might as well grab these thingies. Touch it. Touch it. This will be 3. Right? That puts us at 3. Yep. So I still need a lot. We need 7 more. 7 more. 437 north. Well, we're kind of going north. Crystal. There it is. .334 northwest. Don't mind me, y'all. Just got to touch the giant shiny thing. .251 north. Oh, it's gonna be on the platform above, isn't it? .77 north. Yeah, it's up there. So this one in particular is going to be up here somewhere. That's fine. Let's just go back the way we were going. It said there was one to the northwest. Actually, is there anything worth going that way for a second? No. Okay. We'll worry about Aether Currents later. Let's get Anti-Tower unlocked. Or Idoscope unlocked. Once we got Idoscope unlocked, we'll worry about flight. Because we're going to have to do quests and everything anyway, so, yeah. It'll be better off. Southwest, you said. Good thing that's kind of where I'm going. $259 southwest. 209. 44. It's just outside this wall somewhere.
Could swap them out. No, been there, done that. Damn near lost my eyebrows.
Think, Coco, think! We'd be well on our way to paradise. Visionaries patting themselves on the backs for their grand accomplishments if you'd only think!
Yes, that does sound rather lovely.
Yeah! I mean, Master Force, you know, what a pleasant surprise. We're not blasting off already, are we?
The schedule remains unchanged, for better or worse. Which is why the Forum has elected to accept assistance in resolving the ether burner conundrum.
Not seen you lot down here before.
There are Archons among their number, but engineering is not their expertise. Nevertheless, the Forum concedes the slim possibility that they may have insights to offer. If not, you are at liberty to return them to the surface, by whatever means you see fit.
I assure you that won't be necessary. Now, about your troubles with the ether burner.
Aye, aye, I'll walk you through it. Suppose I could do with a change of pace. As the name ought to tell you, the ether burner burns ether, ambient or otherwise, and transforms it into motive force. Think of it like a giant bomb that never stops exploding. Even out in that black void where the ether's right sparse, it's strong enough to move our arc. And it probably won't kill you like an actual bomb.
Probably.
But it ain't perfect. According to my calculations, to travel to the moon and back fast enough for the Forum's liking, the conversion rate needs to be 6% more efficient. A measly 6%, you say? But if I could have squeezed even another 0.6 out of it, don't you think I'd have built it that way in the first place?
Hast thou consulted with the Loperids?
Yes, they too are conducting their own research, for lack of a ready answer. The moon's propulsion systems are considerable, naturally, yet they are commensurately massive. It is no easy feat to convert their technology into an efficient means of propulsion for a teeny tiny toy boat, as they say.
A teeny
as I
tiny.
most certainly do not.
The fact that they had Fortuno say teeny tiny toy boat is fantastic.
Yes, exactly! Damn it all, I asked for refined adamantite and they send me uppity rabbits with inscrutable, ancient, incompatible technology! You're trying to drive me mad!
Do you speak of Allegan refined adamantite, perchance?
You know of it?
Only in the most general terms, I'm afraid. 'Twas an alloy of Allegan make, but the secrets of its production were closely guarded. As I recall, the record stated it was vital to Dalamud's construction and launch.
Aye, that's the stuff. No material more conductive far as I know. Slotting some in's like blowing up a dam and watching the river of ether come rushing through. Ain't a living soul that knows how to make it though. We were fortunate enough to salvage some for the ether burner, just a wee bit, mind, from a chunk of Dalamud that came hurtling into the northern empty during the calamity. With more, well, that extra 6% efficiency would be child's play. It's a crying shame that we've no other sources.
Surely the many shards of Dalamud scattered throughout Eorzea would suffice. Why not get the refined adamantite from them?
Oh, we tried, believe you me. But only a few specialised pieces would have had any in them to begin with. Drive calls from Ragnarok class internment hulks. Those are the prize bits we really need. I According to the Gleaners, getting to them means delving deep into the shards. And the defences are still very operational and very eager to blow them up. It's rough going in there, even for the cream. Not sure they'd make it out alive.
You want me to fetch the whatsits?
That may be for the best, though you doubtless find the task too dull for your liking.
There are multiple internment hulks in Eorzea alone, so handling this ourselves may not be the most efficient option. Rather, if we could salvage adamantite from the shards simultaneously. Thancred, is the link shell we established before you went to Garlemald still active?
Of course. The floor is yours. What's all this?
Gathering firewood, so to speak. We alone can accomplish little, but joined by others, we may yet build a bonfire to carry us heavensward.
And the music.
This is Alphino. The Scions have need of you.
Showing off for Dad.
Understood. I will contact the Lord Commander and dispatch our finest at once.
My sisters are somewhat preoccupied with the final days, so I will lead the 12-foot expedition myself.
Are you aware of any other sources of refined adamantite?
Logically, such an invaluable alloy would have been utilized solely where absolutely necessary, in components intended to conduct or collect surpassing amounts of ether. Any extant instrumentation or devices would have likely found their way into the hands of etherologists or enthusiasts.
Magical artifacts of Allagan design? The Eastern Alliance will send word to one and all. Are there other ways we may offer aid? No shards of the Lesser Moon scar our soil, but our stake in this cause is no less for it.
Is there anything in Othard that might be of use to you?
What did you say? Oh, you got friends in far places, lad. Any road. If you're offering, I wouldn't say no to one of those Far Eastern sacred relics. Some of them can hold enough ether to summon a whole damn primal. Combine a source like that with the ether burner, and 3, 2, 1, kaboom!
I gather you heard his explosive enthusiasm. Might you secure us a suitable relic?
It shall be done. I know little of machines, but I promise we will do our utmost to gather the materials you need to finish your starship. I am glad for the work, in truth. Better to busy oneself than wait and fret over disasters foretold.
Then why are we all still standing about yapping? There's
Sicko.
plunder for the taking. And I'm a born plunderer. I'll be an old Charlian before you know it. Start mixing the grog.
I'm certain that can be arranged. Thank you all, and do be careful.
Just like that.
Aye, just like that. Our refined adamantite is on its way. Now let us consider our next steps, shall we? There's yet much to be done.
Just say you're proud of your kids, man. So times like these, we are reminded how famous or infamous Alphinaud has become. Who'd have thought he could achieve so much with a single link pearl conversation? As we're expecting rather a lot of visitors in the near future, I best return to the service and inform the relevant parties. I also have a contact of my own that might be worth a try. Oh, and who might that be? That's for me to know and you to find out. And on that note, I leave matters here in your capable hands. Best of luck. Meanwhile, in Ul'dah.
Our course of action is clear. We must harvest refined adamantite from the shards of Dalamud and procure arcane relics of Allagan make. Summon the best and brightest of our immortal flames and form an expeditionary party at once. Call upon the Sultan Sworn and Brass Blades for support as you must. Papashan, send word to the guilds. We will require the expertise of master artisans if we are to have any hope of identifying and recovering these elusive materials. Viergeist, we have need of your stone torches. They are to assist the immortal flames in scouring the ruins and to help secure the surrounding areas. I trust I can count on your support.
As commander of the Stone Torches, my son Zimberk will personally see it done.
Pippin, I would have you lead the raiding party. Assemble your finest, and with Tizona's blade clear the way. Lord Lolorito, I pray you take charge of the search for Allagan relics. Surely you know of some being traded on open or clandestine markets, or sleeping in collectors' vaults. Of course, I ask not that you do this out of the kindness of your heart. By all means, profit on the transactions. I wish you the joy of it. The final days descend upon our world. If circumstances are truly as dire as they say, Ul'dah's best efforts may be for naught. And yet, when we Eorzeans rose from the ashes to rebuild our broken realm, did we not learn one simple truth? That which seems all but impossible to overcome alone may yet be possible if we stand together. It was the Scions who united us then, and it is the Scions who call upon us now. Ul'dah will answer that call. We will summon our courage and join the fight for our world's future. You know your duties. I, Nanamo Ul'Namo, 17th in the line of Ul, bid you good luck and Godspeed.
It's gonna go to every city-state. A Black Shroud.
We fielded a goodly number, but our ranks are heavy with healers, and an abundance of restorative magics will be of little help in destroying Dalamud's defenses. Still, it has ever been thus with Gridania. We must steel ourselves for a protracted engagement.
In that case, might I suggest taking us along?
Commander Hext, what are you doing here?
None of the shards in Girabania are big enough to hold an internment hulk. So we said to ourselves, why not lend our neighbors a hand? We thought you might be short on people with a talent for breaking things.
While it pains me to admit it, you are right. Our deficiency so plain to see.
It might have been a lifetime ago, but I was once one of the Scions assigned to the Shroud. I know this forest well. I know your people. And I know we will be stronger if we fight this fight together.
Then I will impose upon you with a clear conscience. Come, let us speak of how to integrate our forces.
I won't let it all be for nothing. I promise you, Papalimo.
Papalimo. Good lad. Good lad he was. Curthus. Meanwhile in Curthus. Come on, what we got out here? Oh man. No,
there you are. We've no time to waste, brother. Everyone has already...
I'm on a lane.
Ah. That was a roar. A dragon's roar.
Meanwhile, in the Ruby Sea, we just going all over Aceres looking for people.
And so, in summation, the Eastern Alliance, as well as the Honorable Lord Lolorito himself, reached out to me for assistance in procuring these treasures of the divine, and I, in turn, do beseech the Confederacy for aid. Is that...
Hancock? What a surprise this is. And a fortuitous one at that. I have a favor to ask, you see.
We're not equipping nothing until we get all of it. Though our friends are searching for refined adamantite and sacred relics, we will only know if they meet your requirements once they have arrived. In the meantime, is there else we might do to be of service? You've already done more than enough. If I had to say, though, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about Allegan technology. You there, the lad with the red eyes and matching hair. You seem to know more than your average scholar. Ha! If only Master Kukul knew how right he was. While he and Graha establish a rapport, why don't we help with preparations for the Great Exodus? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond the terms of our arrangement, but I propose this not to curry favor. As confident as I am that we will succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. This would also be an opportunity to familiarize ourselves with the logistics traversing the great expanse, and if nothing else, it beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantite. Well, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If you've a mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. Charlene Hamlet is lousy with researchers and scholarly types, busying themselves preparing for the Exodus. Ha! That lot need all the help they can get. Well, then off we go. Okay. Where do you want me to go? Back the way we came. I don't think we're gonna make it to Idascope with all the cutscenes that are happening. A little over an hour. But good thing I came out here to this crystal. Saves us the time from walking from where we just were all the way out here. Granted, we're gonna have to walk all the way back, but from what I can tell, a lot of people actually live down here. I don't know how much help we can offer, but I dare say they'll benefit from some of that fresh inspiration Scalark Monteshane mentioned. Let's start by asking around, ideally without getting in anyone's way. Easy enough, okay? Come on, Vominos. Let's meet by the 8th right once the work is done. Come on, Vominos. Everybody, let's go. Someone do something helpful so that we can get moving. I can't jump over that, really? I like how a bunch of extra quests just popped up. And that one too. Yep. Vexed Veterinarian. There's a dude over here too, yeah. Oh, hello. Are you one of the new helpers? Yes, something like that. Let's go. Bringing on the Aetherburner. Oh dear, I hear things have come to a standstill on that front. Even so, I choose that over my current duties. Checking and loading samples day in, day out is tiring, thankless work. Still, no one will be crossed if I misplace a few ligaments or what have you. The forum's got enough on their plate as it is. What with deciding who gets to board the Ark and when? A lot of powerful people have opinions about that. My heart goes out to Master Fortune and the others. Hardly get a moment's rest, I expect. Do they even have time to sleep? Helping with the Ark? Even with all the power Master Coco's managed to squeeze it out of the Aetherburner, it's still not enough, apparently. And now I hear the final days have arrived. Horrible creatures running rampant all over. If only we'd begun the exodus sooner. People are dying, and there'll be no end to it if we don't fulfill our duties. But we will. We've spent years preparing for this moment. Believe in the plan, and all will be well. I gotta find the last guy. Where's the last guy? Right here. Offering to help? That's very kind, but I should be able to organize the rest of the documents by myself. It's mostly lists of the things we'll need once we arrive on the moon, and then whichever star we choose as our new home. My duties largely concern the maintenance of living conditions, so I'll be a lot busier after we depart. I hear that our lunar collaborators have come down to assist us in efforts. I'm looking forward to finally meeting them in person, after having communicated with them in such a limited capacity thus far. To be perfectly honest, I've not even the slightest idea of what they look like. I do hope they're not enormous, looming giants. Why? I would much prefer something small and fluffy, like that beheaded rabbit that ran by. That was one of them. Growing way. No. I don't want to talk to Growing Way. I'm trying to talk to Living Way. Fancy meeting you here, PK Thunder. Our friends in the forum brought us to see their teeny tiny toy boat, which was quite impressive considering they didn't use any creation magics. What we're really interested in is Aetheris itself, though we now find ourselves in sort of funny underground miniaturized version of it. We were hoping the forum would give us a guided tour, but it appears they're rather preoccupied. Honestly, all that time to prepare and they're still not ready. I suppose we'll just have to show ourselves around, or at least that's what we were planning to do until we chanced upon Urianger and your good self. Since you're both dawdling about, engaging in idle chit-chat, perhaps you could show us a few points of interest. Wouldn't that be fun? Sure. A tour of Labyrinthos. An unexpected yet prudent suggestion. Given the similarities betwixt this artificial environment and the Bistway's burrows, 'twould be in our best interest to have the Loppers acquaint themselves with the conditions deemed optimal by the Charlian collaborators. I fear, however, that continued reliance upon my limited knowledge would risk narrowing rather than broadening their perspectives. Mayhap thou art better suited to lead this venture. What a marvelous idea! Might we begin with that great big works over yonder? Ah, yes, the what's it. I shall leave this explanation to PK Thunder. Goodness me, to build something so large without creation magic is positively stupendous. Perhaps you would direct our attention to its most important features? How is that? Search for the apparatus. Thanks. It is a little hard to see from here, but is that a golden pipe connected to the top of those tanks? And I can see through the window of another pipe at the bottom. Ah, this must be for purifying water drawn from below. Yeah, there you go. Sure. Is that water I hear from inside the great big tube? It must be because of those cogs at the gigantic wheel at the top. Oh, I see. That's how they draw the water. There's probably some sort of spiral-shaped mechanism inside it, too. Sure. That looks like the trees in Greatest Ensvale. Hold on. That's a bit of a strange shape. It has a thin bottom, but big and round at the top. Quite tall for something so unbalanced, too. Now it makes sense. That's where they store the water. Well, if I were to hazard a guess, water drawn from underground, presumably with some other mechanism, is purified here and is stored in that tower before being distributed elsewhere. I'm right, aren't I? I knew it. A design brilliant in its simplicity. I dare say it would take only a moment to install it in even the harshest of environments for us Lopperites, that is. Indeed, securing a reliable source of water is of the most importance for any fledgling settlement. We have read, however, that people of affairs sometimes make their homes in arid deserts and such. How are they able to survive? Many settlements in Thanalan are built near an oasis. So wherever you choose to live, you're never far from water. Oh dear, I worry we won't be able to procure the necessary amount. We can provide enough water to keep them from drying out completely, but it would appear they rely on it far more than we anticipated. A few adjustments may be in order once we've calculated the average rate of consumption per individual. It may also be worth learning more about how exactly they obtain their water in the first place. Master Alphinaud spoke of the machinery responsible for that feat during our journey through the Largascon Alpha, did he not? Mayhap the Lopperites will share his appreciation for the engineering marvel. Oh yes, that sounds absolutely splendid. We must journey beyond the sanctuary of Charlene Hamlet. I shall lead the way. You mean we have to brave the untamed wilderness? A valid concern indeed. We could not help but notice the many dangerous-looking creatures with big, nasty teeth lurking beyond the safe confines of this settlement. Were we not escorted here by burly custodians, I dread to think what would have become of us. Regrettably, too many a hungry predator with the aforementioned big, nasty teeth. Loppers may appear to be the potential or rather appetizing source of sustenance. Might I impose upon thee to assist in securing safe passage to Logiscon Alpha? For my part, I shall act as escort to Living Way and Cooking Way. I entrust Singing Way and Growing Way to thy care. A more valiant protector they could not wish for. Godspeed. If it's all the same to you, I'd rather not be eaten by some horrible beastie. Come along, Growing Way. The water extraction works it. Surely designate a location to defeat any enemies that appear. Or, you know, I could just take a route that nothing pops up so we can get this done faster. That's typically what I do. Thank you so much. I really hope this water extraction is worth these harrowing experiences. All part of the fun, some might say, but I'd rather not be burnt to a crisp if it's all the same to you. My friends, I bid you welcome to Logiscon Alpha. Our destination does lie at the lift's top. Pray follow me. You will need to use this lift should you wish to blah blah blah. That's just saying we need to go up. To go up, we need to use the lift. Easy enough. Marvelous, simply marvelous. So this is where the magic, or science rather, takes place. The perfect environment to sustain life artificially created. The knowledge we'll gain here will be essential when we start looking for new stars for your kind to inhabit. Apparently most of them don't even have air for you to breathe. You're all very lucky that Aetherius just so happens to provide you everything you need to thrive. Or did mankind turn out the way they are because of the available resources, I wonder. Either way, it's nothing short of miraculous, and I cannot wait to see more of it. This is very wonderful, I'm sure, but I was rather hoping to learn more about your nourishment provision facilities. In other words, where's the food? I believe both the knowledge and consumables you seek may be found at Mera Ergonomics, as I imagine Singing Way and the others intend to study every conceivable facet of this apparatus. Wouldst thou be so kind to escort our visiting culinarian? Yes, that sounds much more interesting. Hopefully I'll be able to see firsthand some of the delicacies Urianger was telling me about. Even his incredibly vivid if a bit too verbose, descriptions cannot compare to sampling them myself. Not to mention Aetheris will soon be no more, so I must learn all I can while there is time. Let us brook no further delay. This is the place, yes? The heady aroma was enough to guide me here, and I spotted several of the fruit and vegetables featured in the compendium. I'd dearly love to try some, but I read that those who help themselves to a farmer's crops without permission are often caught and put into pies. Perhaps you could ask... That's a fucking Peter Rabbit joke. Perhaps you could ask whoever's in charge if they would be willing to part with a few samples. He is now accompanying you. What a fine mess this is. Ah, it's you, the one who climbed down the mine shaft. I'd show you around if I could, but I'm rushed off my feet preparing for the exodus. And I'm not the only one. We've all got to find ways to do what we can, to do what we do down here, up there. First on the moon, then wherever, then on whichever star the Forum decides will become our new home. It's all so sudden, so unreal. Don't you want to go to the moon? Well, it's better than waiting for the final days to claim us, but no matter how carefully it's all planned, we'll never be able to take every variety of flora and fauna with us. Even the ones we can take may not survive in their new environment. So many species doomed to extinction. Sorry, that's not what you came to talk about, is it? Nothing quite so dire, I assure you. We merely wish to sample a little of your produce if we may. Oh, by all means, help yourselves. Much appreciated, my good fellow. So, where to begin? Oh, I'm gonna pick something. Oh, I know these. These are grapes, yes? Let's see if they are as delicious as they look. So sweet, so sour. The taste is much like a ripe philosopher's carrot, and yet the texture is entirely different. The contrast between the outer skin and the fruit within is most peculiar, though far from unpleasant. Yes, I think I'll try another. Well, that is certainly giving me food for thought, though in a far less visceral manner than any philosopher's carrot. But tell me, what is your opinion on grapes? I'd rather not eat a rancid giant toad eyeballs. I'd brave an erupting volcano for some. Yes, they are rather Moorish, aren't they? And from what I've read, quite versatile too. Something about people stepping on them to make intoxicating beverages, as I recall. Anyway, that's enough about grapes for the time being. On to the next treat. This apples. Oranges maybe? Orange by the name, orange by the nature. What came first, the fruit or the color? Who cares? Let's eat. Yes, that's equal parts sweet and sour as with the grapes, yet nothing alike. I may have to consult Oriente about expanding my vocabulary. I simply cannot find the words to describe it. Perhaps what I'm looking for is bitter? This is all very complicated. You know, so many flavors, so many choices, and each individual with their own personal preference. Now I see why you all turn your nose up at the idea of eating nothing but carrots. Marvelous though they still are in my estimation, let no one say I said otherwise. But speaking of carrots, I've yet to sample any of the vegetables. Let's see what is in the field over there. Was that a pumpkin? That color, that texture, are they some form of enormous round carrots? No, in any case, proper nomenclature is less of a concern than the taste. Blech, it's so hard and flavorless, I may as well be chewing a piece of wood. That all but confirms it. These are nothing more than misbegotten failures masquerading as goodly carrots. Stop, stop, stop. Can't you see these are pumpkins? And no one with any sense would try eating them raw. You're supposed to cook them first. Do you not find it an awful bother? Far from it. Cooking is a joy unto itself. And what's more, it broadens the range of ingredients that may be safely eat. But above all else, cooking allows us to draw out the full potential of our produce. Pumpkin stew has been one of my favorite dishes for as long as I can remember. Then perhaps even these hard blocks of plant matter can become as delicious as the orange I sampled. I wonder though if there is anything even more delicious. How about that yellow fruit over yonder? Oh, it must be lemons. Yeah, it's lemons. Well, a wonderful fragrance. With luck, I'll have a flavor to match. As I have no idea how these are eaten, I'll just bite into it. My tongue, is this poison? A lemon? You mean it's supposed to taste like this? How can something so similar to an orange be so revolting? It may be some time before my palate recovers from this ordeal. As such, I had best call an end to this round of sampling. Let's say our farewells and return to the others. Finished, have you? I trust you found something to your liking. I'm rather enamored with the grapes and oranges, less so with the pumpkin though, and I learned the hard way they're not to be eaten raw. Then there was the lemon, the deceiver. I still feel so violated. Huh, first time, was it? I hate for you to leave with a bad taste in your mouth in more ways than one, so I'll give you this lemon muffin I begged. If this doesn't change your opinion, nothing will. More lemon? Have I not suffered enough? Nevertheless, it would be remiss of me to spurn this opportunity to a bit of sick came up there. Learn more of your inscrutable ways. Very well, lemon muffin, do your worst. This is delicious. Although I still detect a hint of lemon, it complements the sweetness of the dough to create a perfect harmony. I never would have guessed its vile bitterness could be utilized so elegantly. My good chap, this is simply breathtaking. See? We rarely use lemon in its natural state, but it has a starring role in all sorts of recipes, and the same is true for many other ingredients. It comes down to making the most of the resources at your disposal, and sometimes that can even be the difference between life and death. I know we won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the Forum agonized over what was worth preserving and what will be consigned to history. Hard choices, but make them we must if we are to survive. Such strength of will. Now I know that what Heidelin sees in your kind. Mankind, the Loporits, we were both born from the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. They learned all there is to learn in the nature of sentient life and their fate and the fates of the stars themselves. Oh my lord, cutscenes. Once a civilization has fulfilled the basic requirements for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity and achieve perfection. And therein lies its folly and its downfall. For perfection is an unattainable ideal. 'Tis the paradox of the immaculate carrot. Yet civilizations since time immemorial have deemed the pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the costs incurred in the futile quest, and all too often become the architects of their own demise, their dreams forever unfulfilled. What then is the alternative? What then is the alternative? The answer lies in knowing that our existence can never be perfect, to be content with what we have and make the most of it. When life gives you lemons, make lemon muffins. pardon my Eorzean, but what in the seven hells are you on about? And who are you anyway? Cooking away, at your service. I'm here to help prepare for the trip to the moon. And once you get there, you'll be able to try my carrots. I've been growing all different kinds. But don't worry, there'll be room for your crops too. We'll work together to preserve as many of Aetheris' species as possible, if you're up to the challenge. Yes, of course, I look forward to it. Well, this has all been highly productive, probably. Let's go and see if Aranja and the others have run out of machinery to inspect, shall we? Gotta go back to the spot I was already at. Just call me running way, 'cause all I be doing is running. What are we doing right now? 6 quests. Like I said, I don't know if we'll get to Idoscope during this stream, but we'll get close. We got like 45 minutes before I gotta get ready for work. Ooh, stretch. That was the most enlightening, especially the part about the lemon muffin. Actually, I was wondering, do you know of any other places famed for their cuisine? Limsa Lamenta is home to the Culinarians Guild. Would that I had time to visit. The more I learn of Aetheris, the more I wish we could spare it from the final days. Alas, Hydaelyn's orders are to flee, not to resist. If only there was some other way. Because under our trust and time at Meryl Ergonomics did cough bear fruit, our own efforts too were rewarded. We now possess an embarrassment of educational riches. No doubt our guests' relentless pursuits of knowledge could occupy them and us for a fortnight. Alas, time is of the essence. Let us return to Charlotte Hamlet forthwith. I shall gladly attend to each and every Loporrit there, should further questions within my power to answer arise. Brian was like, I'm just gonna stay here. And I went, aw. Okay, we teleport. We ain't walking. If we can avoid walking, we're gonna avoid walking. Sigh. What's the matter, growing way? Yes, Beacon Hunter, that was indeed me verbalizing a sigh to express my emotional state. You want to know why? Because I saw the reconstructed environmental area data that for Aetheris at Larxian Alpha, that's why. A forest so lovely and so leafy. Are all your forests like that? They're verdant, at least. The trees of Dravania stand particularly proud. You should see the forest of the first. One was purple. Gasp, gasp, I say. With a star so wonderful, it comes as no surprise that you're reluctant to leave it behind. I was a fool to think otherwise, to assume that the moon was something worth being proud of. How ridiculous we must seem to you, trying so hard yet to achieve so little. Not at all. Thy works are no less worthy of your... thy works are no less worthy of their uniqueness. I thought I heard tiny voices. Tancred! how didst thou fare? Oh, I was able to glean a fair bit from the researchers while helping to move their cargo. Preparations have proceeded without interruption here, despite news of the coming end. We have the forum's leadership to thank for that. That doesn't mean people aren't worried, though. Quite the opposite. Knowing disaster could strike any moment, they hurry to complete their work, equally aware that a single error could be the difference between life and death, and we can hardly tell them there's no cause for concern. Perhaps not. Though aided by our goodly growing way, we may yet find other ways to lighten their burden. But me? Be of use to people? I'm honored that you would think me so capable, but I'm not sure that I'm up for the challenge. Nevertheless, I believe in thee. If you say so, I suppose it can't hurt to try. I passed someone moping in the western plaza that looked to be in need of a helping paw. Perhaps you might start with him. 'Tis as good a place as any. Come. Do I have to go with him? Ugh, I gotta go with him. I was hoping I could just talk to Thancred and move on. Oh, can I help you? We're actually looking to help you. It is you who would help me. Is my anxiety truly so obvious? A burden shared is a burden eased. Pray tell us of thy troubles. Those little fellows do look like good listeners. I'm an engineer, you see, and what they say of the ship, that it's the sum of decades of Charlie ingenuity, that it's built of peerless, elegant technology is all true, but I know that none of that is a guarantee. We've never before launched a starfaring vessel, let alone flown it in the great expanse. All the tests we've run have been on the ground. Only operational personnel and cargo will be aboard for the first voyage, but even so, if it fails us, then what can we do? And what if it doesn't? If it could fall apart on the next flight or the one after that? We've done everything we can to prevent that from happening, but it hardly matters. We thought the afterburners, the Aetherburner's design was flawless too, and look how that turned out. Thou art familiar with these most daunting technologies, and thus dost thou hold the power to allay his fears. Oh, I'm not sure about that, but well. Maybe you could tell me if there are any aspects of the ship's design that you are especially worried about. Our ability to walk about and perform our tasks, for one. I've devised a means by which to employ gravity and spatial temporal spell to regulate the environment, but what if it's not strong enough? What if everyone floats away and begins crashing into things as soon as we've left the stars? Ah, gravitation. Maybe I can help with after all. Up there is not so different from down here, you see. The same rules apply, and if you consider them as one big great cosmos rather than separate places. And now they're going into detail. I suspect both parties shall find comfort in this conversation. Yet, if Thancred's tale be true, still others would benefit from insight born of experience. Might I prevail upon the loppers to attend them? An excellent idea, if I do say so myself. There is naught we'd like more than to ease the hearts of the fine people of Atheris, and learn more about them while we're at it. Full glad am I to hear it. Gather thy companions and bring them hither. Peathana, thou hast a gift for finding souls in need of succor. Pray seek thee out the distressed and the apprehensive, and inform them that help is at hand. I shall await them here, that I might introduce each to a suitable lopperet. Oh, I've got this. Oh, I do so look forward to that. A place for every Loporrit and every Loporrit in their place. Fucking this area is massive that you want me to search. Are you serious right now? Anybody over here need some help? Anybody? Who's that? Distracted researcher. 56 bunches of weed in the ground. 56 bunches of weed. Rip one out. Add to the amount. 55 bunches of weeds in the ground. Oh lordy. Oh, I'm not neglecting my duties, I swear. I was in need of a little break, you see, when I found myself unable to relax at all, so I went on a walk, and then I noticed these weeds, and... Pleasant conversation partners and oh so fuzzy? Goodness me, that does sound like a much better way to relax. Good lord. There's 8 of them? Hyperventilating engineer. By the gods, my chest is tight. Am I dying? Is this what it feels like? Is this what dying feels like? Oh, do pardon me. I didn't see you there. There's no cause for concern, I assure you. No cause for concern, even though we may need to depart at any moment. And if the hull I designed buckles under the strain, the entire vessel may explode on launch, claiming countless lives and dooming all mankind. But that is highly unlikely. Yes, highly unlikely. Highly. Our visitors can help me triple check the structural flaws, you say? Why, that would be wonderful. I'm breathing more easily already. Good, there's 2. I'll go find 6 more. Aha, the end of the world is nigh, yet our work goes no faster. Schedules are such temperamental things. Feasible one moment, utter bollocks the next, and yet I've never felt so alive. This one is beyond your help. Only sleep can save her now. So that one doesn't count. That one doesn't count? So on top of that, I need 6 more people, and some of them don't count. Okay. Concerns nay, there's no point in worrying at this stage. It only makes me worry that much more. One seems to be coping well. Anxious engineers, taking forever. What am I thinking about? The medical facilities on the ship, of course. I designed them with the assistance of our sages and chirurgeons, but to imagine every illness or injury that one might face in the great expanse is beyond any of us. To say nothing of the effects that living out there indefinitely might have on the body. Explains the situation. The crew from the moon. Why did I not think of that? There's 3. So many more people to find. 5 more to go. 5 more people to find that might need bunnies. Despondent engineer. Tired gleaner. Just leave me to my misery. The forum can appoint someone else. I apologize. I certainly don't know what to do. How am I supposed to pilot the Ark if I'm already falling apart under the pressure? You know a starship pilot that I might speak with truly? Well then, there's no time left to waste. Let's go. Kind of skimming through these. Have you heard anything on what's on the moon? I have no doubt that we can make it up there, but the searching for a new star part of the plan sounds awfully vague to me. I asked the forum, but they will only tell us that our collaborators have everything under control. Forgive me, but I don't feel particularly safe wandering through the sea of stars on gods know what made by gods know who. Well, their Loporrits are right over here. They live up there, you know. So I mean, they're right over there. You mean to say that I can speak with them directly? Amazing. I hope they like questions. 3 more. There was a dude over yonder too. Tired gleaner. I don't think he's gonna matter. Anything bother me? Well, I've had a loaded cargo with bells now, so my back feels like a void since I played piano. My feet and knees feel like cymbals too. Yeah, this one doesn't need anything. Ponderous mathematician. Grimacing naturalist. My faith, what's wrong with my... Oh, perhaps I'm a bit tense. I was tasked with ensuring that the proper fauna and only the proper fauna are brought with us to the moon. However, the suitability of a few species is still under debate, and I can hardly make the decision myself when I know so little about the environment up there. Including the loppers in our discussion is a wonderful idea. I absolutely will. Thank you. Perhaps their biology itself might be of some clue as well. 6. Yeah, yes, you idiot. Have you seen the envelope lying about? The Invisible refuses to give me the alchemic I ordered without the bloody slip of parchment. Unless your friends have a spell to make me remember where I dropped my damned envelope, I doubt there'll be more help. Didn't need him. Dick. Ponderous mathematician. Consult our collaborators. I suppose that would be more effective than sitting here brooding. In an attempt to calculate how much cargo we can consider into fewer trips, should the Aether Burner make our original estimates unfeasible, but there are simply too many variables. I feel as if my brow will turn inside out, but perhaps our lunar associates will have more insight into how much weight constitutes too much weight for our purpose. Thank you for letting me know. One more. Where are you? Occupied administrator. How might I help you? Well, the question is, how might I help you? You need to go speak with the Loporus. Oh, what a lovely idea. I too notice people becoming rather tense, so I rush out to collect some fresh and fragrant tea leaves. Now I only need to track down 100 or so cups. But don't you worry, I can manage. I hope you can plan everyone. I'm doing rather well, son of a bitch. I need one person. Must be you there. Nope, you're calm. Worries, no, I feel fine. Let me go up the stairs over there then. Blasted assistants, where have they gone too off at a time like this? Beg pardon, but I have not been chit-chat. I need to confirm that the aether levels are consistent throughout the vessel's machinery, and if it seems I'll be too single-handedly, I swear when I find those assistants of mine, why don't you go talk to the Loporets? The Loporets are willing to help, why didn't you say so? At least they won't moan about how they checked 24 times already and haven't slept in weeks. Behold, P.K. Thunder. Through thine efforts, word hath spread throughout Labyrinthos. Verily, to a far greater number than we anticipated, Living Way doth gather more Loporets as we speak. I shall assign each in accordance with their skills, that new bonds of friendship might be forged. Should greater matters require not thine attentions, watch over them, I prithee. What? I'm gonna sit here and watch the fucking rabbits?
So much in, well, in forever.
Lively, isn't it? The town is abuzz. Everyone eager to meet with our friends from the moon.
'twould behoove you to consult with Sleeping Way. As our moon's pilot, his advice should be most pertinent.
Sleeping Way is the pilot.
I'm impressed. Truth be told, I struggle to tell one from another. No offense intended, of course.
None taken. After you and your friends left Mare Elementorum, we spent no small amount of time with your Urianger. Oh, the conversations we had. He told us all about Atheris, answered our every question, no matter how trifling or trivial. Look! Every page filled to the margins with knowledge. When I first arrived, I was struck by how little I knew. It was daunting. But then I realized that, were it not for Urianger and his teachings, we'd still be stuck on the moon, gazing at your world and wondering what we've been missing.
What would they think if they could see Urianger now? I dare say they'd be more than a bit surprised. And impressed, no doubt. Master Louisoix, Minfilia, Papalimo, and not to forget...
Moonbreeder. Speaking of Moonbreeder...
Oh there! Heard there was a visiting expert who we might bother with a few questions.
Yes, I am.
Wilson and Blovida, Sharlayan's foremost researchers in the field of teleportation magic, and Moonbreeder's parents.
It hath been some time. 'Tis good to see you in good health.
Likewise, old friend. Blovida and I were most honored to answer the call. Never expected this reunion, though, did we, dear?
Arthur, the nerve. Sending that letter, then running off to the gods know where. Do you have any idea how worried we were?
I'm sorry. 'Twas remiss of me not to deliver the news in person. No, more than that. 'Twas I who...
Our daughter was disillusioned after Master Louisoix left her behind. The day the Scions called upon her was the happiest I'd seen her in years. She made her every choice of her own free will. No one could have ever forced her to do otherwise. Don't blame yourself for her death. Celebrate her life. You know that's what she'd want.
If there is one thing we resent you for, it was that we could not be there to mourn her with you. Reading the words you penned in that shaky hand, we must have cried as much for you as we did for her.
I'm sorry. I truly, truly am. I knew not what to say. Knew not how to express my feelings. The poems and platitudes of wiser men, musings on sadness and loss, studied and memorized, and meaningless in the moment.
Silly boy. We are all powerless before such grief. Even now, try as I might, the words escape me. But in our hearts, we know, we always know.
remember when you were young, how the lads teased you for choosing the company of books over others. Our moon didn't take kindly to that. Be nice to Urianger, she'd shout, and give them a walloping. No matter how many times we scolded her.
So we offered a suggestion. Rather than starting fights, why don't you be the bridge between Urianger and the others? She had to mull it over for a while, arms crossed, brow furrowed in intense thought. But from that day on, she never let you be alone. She'd drag you outside to play, pepper you with endless questions, read the same books you read, all to try and understand you that much better. I'm sure it was annoying and exhausting at the time, but she only ever had the best of intentions.
And look at you now, at the center of the crowd. The reason there even is a crowd, having brought these people together. You've no idea how proud we are.
Oh.
To see the boy, our daughter, trusted and believed in more than anyone, grow into the man she always knew he could be. I can see her in you, too. Feel her. She walks with you wheresoever you go. So thank you, Urianger, for being who you are.
I think I can feel her too. The truth of her life. Not sorrow, but hope and love.
This moon breeder. She was important to him, wasn't she?
You could ask the man himself.
Oh, no. But watching this exchange reminds me how much I've yet to learn about your world. And its people.
You can live here your entire life and hardly learn a thing. And that's why it's too soon for this to end.
Oh, PK Thunder, be assured that I am fine. I am. So glad to see them two after so very long. Gladder still that it was in your company. As difficult as it was to accept their kindness, would have been far harder had I faced them alone. Thou hast my gratitude for lending courage to the Loperids. Not disposed to rest on their laurels, several of our guests have elected to accompany my countrymen to their stations. Some few still have come hither seeking counsel, and so I shall remain to aid them as need be. If thou art needed elsewhere, do not let me detain thee. As a matter of fact, I was hoping you might check on Alize. Last I saw, she was struggling to carry an enormous pile of boxes out by the west gate. I could go myself, but we both know whose help she likes. We both know how she likes to scorn. Not to mention that, much to my misfortune, I can think of several other things I ought to be doing until later. Shoop. I said shoop, shoop. So I've gotten what now? Oh, so I should be getting the gloves out of this one, I think. Are we going? Sneaky Thunder, what are you doing out here? I was told to come assist you. No, I don't mind if you help with the boxes, but it's far from the most exciting of tasks, are you sure? Yeah, I got you. Well, I appreciate the assistance. We need to get these to Aporia. Time is short, of course, but they're full of organic specimens and samples, so try not to be too rough with them. Alphanod should be waiting for us when we arrive. I'll see you there. With your crate samples to Alphanod, you'll have 3 minutes. No, I can't sprint, so basically go straight there. Don't get attacked. Don't drop them. Ugh. Pretty much almost by the other Aether, which is good, so I'll be able to teleport back and forth at least. Wish I could at least sprint. Shoot! You son of a bitch. Back off! Back off! This here roadway, eh? Yes, I see out of now. Trying to go around this guy. Oh, you're helping with the crates? Wonderful. You can put that there with the others. Yeah, my gratitude, but how did you come to be involved in this? Ah, then I suppose I have Thancred to thank as well. There's the crystal that I must go touch. If you're wondering why we are tasked with bringing these boxes to Aporia to begin with, so was I. It turns out that this is the base of operations of sorts. Those with final say as to what is included on the ship's manifest can be found here. Father included, I suspect. That should be everything. You carry all of that at once? Are you trying to injure yourself? Oh hush, they're lighter than they look, and not everyone has your delicate arms. I suppose we should let someone know that we finished. Theopaldin is in the courtyard. We can report to him. Why don't you come along? You should get credit for your assistance at least. Considering where we are, we might even learn something interesting. I'm touching the crystal. I will turn in the quest in a minute. Crystal first. Gods, it never ends, does it? What can I do for you? We brought the samples from Charlene Hamlet, Series 110. The crates are by the entrance. Ah, thank you. I had expected one of my colleagues, but we are dreadfully short-handed. Just a moment. You are Foshinel's children, are you not? Alphanod and Alize at your service. You're acquainted with my father, I take it? Quite. I've been friends with your parents since our days in the studium. I remember when you were yay high, waddling hither and thither. Clearly it's been quite some time since we've met. 'Tis good to see you again. Wielding your father's new list, no less. Ah, you knew our parents when they were young? What were they like? Pray spare no detail. I should like nothing more than to regale you. Alas, I am meant to be in charge here, and reams of paperwork want for submission. We can help with that in exchange for the sort of stories our parents would never willingly divulge, of course. Very well then. There happen to be at least 3 sets of documents in need of delivery, so how about you each take one? Oh my god, I gotta wait for him to actually hand us everything. Wait right there. We will find a forum representative waiting to collect these near the southernmost structure. I hope I haven't kept her waiting too long. Never mind Alpha and Alize. I'm certain they will be back soon enough. Are you not one of the signs of the Seventh Dawn? I thought you were meant to be working on the Eighth Burner. Theo Paulman's paperwork. I was beginning to worry he had misplaced his quill. I appreciate your help. I see these documents, in seeing these documents in my hand at least. As for your other tasks, pray keep this between us, but I sincerely hope you sign and succeed. The Exodus is, without a doubt, the most monumental undertaking in the history of the Forum, and so we must be circumspect in all respects. Risk is a privilege we cannot afford ourselves. At its heart, however, Charlian has ever been a nation of the curious. Has ever been a nation of the curious. 'Twould be a tragedy indeed if we were the ones to stymie your pursuit of truth. Quick and efficient, I dare say you have a talent for this work. The twins' paper only needed to be delivered to elsewhere in the facility, so they should be returning any moment. And of course, cutscene. We return, with not a scrap of paperwork remaining on our persons, you will note. You both have my thanks and my apologies for sending you on the errand far below your ambitions. Why, even as a babe, you struggled out of your swaddling clothes, and that is quite enough of that, thank you. It was compromising stories about our parents that we would ask to hear, to reiterate. Of course. I've known your father for so long, I must have something. Well, as you know, part of why the Levio name garners such respect in Charlian is your family's storied history. You too can trace your ancestry directly to those who came aboard Nunkrep's Hope, a lineage few can claim. I've never thought much of it myself. It's not as though our forebears founded our nation. They were simply there when it happened. Nevertheless, it has traditionally been a point of pride. 'Tis why Nunkrep's pronouncement, renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason, has ever been our family's creed. Until your grandfather's time, Archon Louis looked not to Nunkrep's words, but his deeds. He asserted in defiance of his peers that choosing to save the great and the small from the rising tides was the true mark of the founder's virtue. Perhaps it was his expertise, his knowledge in ancient prophecy, and the fall of civilizations that led him to conclude that to eschew conflict at every turn was to consign mankind to his doom. There will ever be conflict, and calamity will follow thus. To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. You remember his words well. Indeed, Archon Louis lived by that personal creed and used every means at his disposal to bring succor to those in need, Charlian or no. No one loved and admired your grandfather more so than his son. Yet Fortunato could not reconcile Louis' deeds with the philosophy of their forebears and his peers, a philosophy in which he believed so fervently, yet made a pariah of his father. Fortunato agonized over his contradiction for much of his life. God's father. A son may carry his father's blood, but his choices are his own to bear. It is not always thus. God's no Fortunato a cranky old goat, so I'm sure you butt heads often, yet even so you must know that you are constantly in his thoughts, every moment of every day, and that is not an exaggeration in the slightest. You should have seen him when you were born, barely recognizable. He was with a kind of dumbfounded grin I'd not seen since he first took a fancy to your mother. He was practically skipping when he told me the news. Take my word for it, he loves you to an embarrassing degree. But he is also frustratingly single-minded. Once he decided that a given action is for the best, he will stay the course no matter who or what opposes him. A profoundly annoying habit when you're the one on the other end of it, as I'm sure you will agree. I'll say. Thank you for your insight. When we next meet our parents, I shall mention that we spoke. Try not to get me into too much trouble now. I need the forum on my side. Speaking of which, I ought to be getting back to work. I have to make sure those specimens you brought make it to their proper places, or the cranky old goat will have my hide. We can speak again later. Hail, you three. Graha, surely Coco hasn't driven you out of the forge already. For better or worse, no, however, he has set a task that requires more than a single pair of hands. And here you are. I could use at least one of you, but I won't object to more. Unfortunately, Alize and I have prior commitments, and we have delayed too long as it is. What about you, PK Thunder? Can you spare the time? Sure. Perfect, this shouldn't take long. But they always say. In the event that our, and I quote, promised heap of adamantite falls right out of the bloody sky and into my lap, Master Coco wishes to be ready to put the proverbial hammer to anvil at a moment's notice. To fabricate these parts, however, he needs the flames in Coco's forge to burn hotter. He sent me to increase the amount of aether burn being funneled into his furnaces. The flow of fire-aspected ether in Labyrinthos is regulated by an elemental reactor south of here, to which I have borrowed the key. The adjustment will require 2 people to carry out safely, but I can explain the process more when we arrive. Then this is where we part then. We shall see you in Charlene Hamlet once the adamantite arrives, if not before. This way then. Okay, you don't need to pose every time somebody asks you to do something. Let's go. I can at least mount. Just because something tells me we're gonna have a fight. Over here. The reactor is housed within this facility. I'll be the one to go inside and adjust the fire aether output. When I do, rather large amount of water aspected aether will issue from the vent at the top. I expect this to attract at least a few elementals, which we would both rather not be drawn into the reactor itself. Trust me. Can I ask that you put down any that draw too near? They'll pose you little trouble, I'm sure. Sure, buddy. Buddy, old pal. Wait here if you would. I could have sworn there was an aether current over here somewhere, but I guess I was wrong. I'll find them all at some point. everything go smoothly out here? Yeah, sure. I thought as much. No major complications to speak inside either. And the water aether appears to be venting properly. I expect Coco will have seen the difference in his forged flames by the time I return. Since I have you, there was another matter I thought to discuss with you. Nothing terribly important, merely something I've been considering. Part of this I shared with everyone, yet you, and only you, have been to Elpis. As we have established, refined adamantite is a product of Allag, of the Empire's twilight years, in fact. It was a material which saw much use as part of the Allagans' efforts to extend beyond the bounds of this world, Dalamud, of course, being the most prominent. Of course, who would push further? Expand Allag's empire to encompass the heavens and the stars above. Perhaps the greatest was its infamous technologist Amon. Amon wanted to travel the stars. Did he remember his life as Hermes? I believe he had his own reasons. There is no evidence to suggest that he retained his memories of his former life. He only joined the Asians once the Empire was all but dust, as you know. If not his memory, though, what drove him to pursue the idea with such fervor? This may seem far-fetched, but what if souls, like minds, have a personality, so to speak, a natural disposition towards which they are inclined? We know with relative certainty that it was the gross decadence and inexorable decline of Allag that moved Amon to resurrect Emperor Zande. The Empire's people spoke lightly of death and destruction, experimenting on those they deemed beneath them to fill the emptiness in their hearts. In facilitating Zande's return, Amon provided these languid souls with the means to free themselves from the mire of their own indolence. Or would have had not Zan been convinced by his own death that life itself was meaningless. Amon's desire for his countrymen to conquer the heavens could only be a means to the same end, to instill the people with new purpose. Like Hermes before him, Amon was appalled by how those around him lived, but could never bring himself to believe that those lives were devoid of meaning, and both of them sought that meaning, that hope in the distant stars. Such is my theory, anyway. Ultimately, it is the consequences of their actions which matter. Their motives are of not moment. To reach those stars on wings of adamantite, to travel to the ends of creation and beyond, the promise of hope everlasting, that much I do understand. But enough musing for now. Why don't we see how Coca-Cola is getting on? Oh, fuck. All the way over there. It's the one spot you can't teleport to, so it's like we do a lot of stuff over here, but we can't teleport over there, so we're gonna have to freaking run. Time consuming. It's what it is. Alright, we'll get there. Right in front of me. Phew, I can feel those flames blazing from here. Glad you found someone capable, Graha, but there's not much left for you lot to do, unless you can conjure up that refined adamantite any faster. I do trust you to deliver on your promise, I do, only I hate waiting. I want that adamantite and I want it now. We share your impatience, I assure you. Is there truly nothing else we can assist you with in the meantime? I wish. This sitting about is unbearable. Pity the Forum frowns on recreational explosions. Well, so long as they can't prove it was premeditated. Get you gone. I have mistakes to make. In that case, I suppose I should go and return the key to the reactor. I'll have one more look to make sure that nothing has gone wrong, unintentionally or otherwise. I'm certain there are better uses for your time, however. I'll join you at the Charlian Hamlet anon. This is the quest right before we unlock the next dungeon, so we're pretty much there, which is good. So not that top. Uraeus body armor. Sorry. Oh wait, your companions. Your companions are bound to show up sooner or later, it says.
All set, I take it?
We finished what we could. Delivered supplies, tracked down escaped animals. Trivial tasks as they may be.
That's enough, don't you think? If there was anything more important still undone, that would be a problem in itself.
The vessel is essentially ready for departure. All that remains is to load the final batch of supplies and see everyone on board. Once we've readied the ether burner, that is.
Ah, had a feeling we might find you all here.
Our consultations with the Loperites, too, have run their course. Pleased I am to say that our researchers' concerns have for the most part been allayed, though some insist on making adjustments to the very end. For their part, Livingway and her peers have graciously offered to stay and keep the people company, lest any lingering queries go unanswered.
All that remains is to wait for the refined adamantite.
Alphino, are you there? It's me, Kryl. Your special delivery has arrived. Round up everyone and come to the harbor at once.
Speak of the devil. Let us go at once.
Forgive the intrusion, Master Fortuner. I bring urgent news. A great commotion has broken out in Scholar's Harbor. Your presence is requested, with all speed.
He's like, what the fuck happened now?
Now, where might this delivery be? Oh.
Oh. Airships.
I'm sure it's very important, but we cannot accept these without the proper permits.
By the 12! Surely, these can't all be.
Bleeding hellfire! They're bringing them by sea and by air. All these folks in these crates.
and more on the way. Got your adamantite right here. A bigger haul than any of these sorry bastards brought, and that's no lie.
Yes, because you were charged with seeing the shipments from Gridania and Uldar here, along with your own. Give credit where credit is due.
Sounds like the sorry whinging of a sore loser. An hypocrite to boot. Ain't no way a scrawny whelp like you took a dozen steps inside a Dalamud shard.
I'll have you know I went all the way to the entrance. I played a vital role in keeping a lookout whilst our expeditionary forces secured the adamantite.
Left you outside so you wouldn't get anyone killed, did they? Well then, credit where credit's due, you did a right fine job sitting on your ass.
Take that back.
Take
Make
that
me.
back.
I will not stoop to your level.
My, what a grand welcome party.
Hancock and Saraban.
We come bearing relics both sacred and elegant, as well as a few other gifts that may be of help, to be presented with best wishes from the Eastern Alliance.
I myself have come with a sacred relic of the Kojin. Upon learning of your need, Bunchin bade me deliver it on behalf of the Blue with all haste. Fearing I could not swim here with the necessary speed, however, I thought to beg our Confederate allies for aid. To my delight, Hancock was already preparing for departure at the self-same port, and had space for additional cargo.
We did, of course, need quite the impressive vessel to get it all here in time.
That is all wonderful to hear, but what of the extraordinary cost? I shudder to think of the ransom we must pay for such a bounty.
Fret not for your coin purse, young Alphino. Lord Lolorito looks ever towards the profits of the future, and thus the East Aldenar Trading Company went to some lengths to reduce the financial liability. And since the Scions funded the entire venture, not a gill need be rendered up in compensation. Everything is already yours.
We funded the venture. When?
Don't let the name fool you. This coin keeper knows a thing or two about spending.
Tataru!
When it comes to capital investiture, a sprinkling of gil here and there will not do. You need enough savings to make waves when it really counts, which is why frugality is paramount. We also had the benefit of a generous patron. Generous being rather an understatement. She has supported us from the shadows since the very founding of the Scions. We even had coffers to fill.
Mother!
He had no idea. He's like, you son of a bitch. We will have.
I remain, of course, an entirely neutral party. I simply thought our family's coffers were needlessly full.
We're needlessly full.
We can hardly take them with us on your teeny tiny toy boat, now can we? And 'twould be a shame to leave all that hard-earned wealth unspent. Waste not.
He's like, oh, my wife. Gonna get me killed, give me a freaking aneurysm.
However did you manage so much in so short a time, though? We expected word to reach only a fraction of our allies.
Did I not tell you I have my ways?
Erenville!
Erenville? You were involved too.
I received a letter from Cryo after we parted ways in Labyrinthos. She explained what the Scions were trying to accomplish, and why you might soon require the services of the Gleaners, spread across the world as we are. I pray you do not interpret this as a betrayal of Charlie. I accept that the Forum's aim in pushing us to our limits was to preserve what knowledge we have, and I bear you no ill will for it. Yet, in collecting that knowledge, what I came to appreciate most about our star is that there remains so much we do not know. That is why I chose to help the Scions, to combat the obliteration of those countless undiscovered wonders. I held no illusions that they would be less demanding taskmasters. Though, rest assured, if I had, I would have been sorely disappointed. To make a long story short, the whole of the guild ship cooperated to ensure your call was heard far and wide.
What's this about a ship that can fly to the moon? And why didn't you mention it sooner? The one time you don't beg my aid, your problem's a bloody ship that can fly to the moon.
Sid, you brought the team.
Of course. Garland Ironworks' finest. You need only point us towards my new favorite ship.
As you like us not suspect, we've also brought adamantite for Mordona's Dalamud shard. I admit to some consternation upon first receiving Kryl's message. So few Scions remain at the Rising Stones now. Far too few for such an expedition. However, the Gleaners were able to secure us reinforcements. Idleshire's treasure hunters, not least among them.
Fascinating as all this is, I fail to see how it explains your presence here. Does Razat Han not have more pressing concerns?
We do. Yet averting the final days would be the most expedient solution. That, and I am indebted to you. Though they chose to take their leave of Thavnair, those you saved in Galimund remain my people. My gratitude is beyond words. 'Tis appropriate that I aid you in kind. If in the doing we bring salvation to others of this star, so much the better. You will recall that I spoke of my father, Midgard Summer, and his journey across the great expanse. As he traveled betwixt the stars, his resplendent scales drank of the ether in those nigh empty surrounds, and imparted to him the strength to persevere. Thinking they might further your cause, I called out to my kin for consent. Ajdaya's answer was silence, as ever. Tiamat and Hrisvelgre, however, responded favorably to the suggestion. My sire, too, gave his assent. Thus have I brought you his own worm scales. Fit them to your purpose, and seek a worthier fate for us all.
You'd be hard-pressed to find someone else so familiar with the unique properties of dragon scales. So I invited myself along.
Ned down.
Bugger me, this is so unbelievable. I've gone right back round to believing it again. Forget a 6% gain in efficiency. With all these goodies, we could get 7, no, 10, no, 14 bleeding percent.
14.
Think of how far we could go. What we could do with that much power. What we could blow up.
If Kokol is duly convinced, then it must be true. In which case, the Scion's end of the bargain has been fulfilled. Would you not agree?
Yes, Father?
I know not what you seek of Hydaelyn, nor for what purpose you would take command of our ship. Yet this much is certain. To do so will be to dictate the fate of this star and the lives upon it. The lives of each and every creature, in their magnitude and their fragility. Do you understand? And are you prepared?
We have seen and we have felt how much each life shapes this world. And so we are determined to abandon none. We understand what is at stake, and we are prepared to bear this burden.
Then I will bear it with you. I beg you, share your struggles with me, as family.
So we can go home?
You grasped my fingers with such tiny hands the day you were born. I thought my heart might burst. It was love and happiness beyond expression. Overwhelming. And a conviction so powerful that I trembled with something close to rage. I had heard the final days foretold. I swore to myself then and there that I would not let them steal your futures. The great exodus would succeed. Must succeed. No, if anything gave me pause, 'twas mine own father. The Archon Louisoix openly decried Charlian's policies, a perspective which I regarded with increasing disdain as I grew older. Yet even as part of me thought him a fool, perhaps I also hoped that he, of all people, would devise a brilliant means to save my children. A naive hope, but stubborn enough that I could never bring myself to keep you apart. No, that was his doing, when he perished at Cartano, as we pulled that twisted slab of Dalamud from the sea. I remembered the warmth of your newborn touch. Chastened, I vowed never again to suffer any interference in my mission to protect you. No matter that you yourselves wished otherwise. Detest me, fight me tooth and nail, I would suffer it, and more, and be satisfied so long as I could force you onto the ship. I was wrong. You two have grown so much stronger and so much wiser than I dared dream. You have earned the right to walk your own path, and already begun to do so.
Good. Because there are things we care about, and people we love, and none of them is replaceable. Not a one.
It cannot have been an easy journey for you to have come so far.
We shall be glad to acquaint you with the finer details someday, once this danger has passed. All that we have seen and heard, that we have felt and learned in our travels. Ours is not a kind world, but it is beautiful. Always.
Oh no. Are you quite sure that's wise? After all, Someone turns pale and flees the room when he sees so much as an envelope containing word of your adventures. Whatever will happen if he learns what you were really up to?
Millions.
Millions.
Though I have wronged my children most gravely, I owe you an apology as well. I assumed that it was the Scion's influence that made them so keen to charge headlong into danger. Yours, in particular. I see now that said influence instead brought them together with the many fine people gathered here today. In which case, I hope you continue to guide them.
If we finish loitering about the harbor, might I suggest we put our plans into motion? People are beginning to look confused.
Perhaps you can spare a few words ere they resume the tedious lugging of cargo. You have no small number of friends and admirers here, after all.
That's just right.
Your assistance is appreciated. Now, in an orderly fashion, if you please.
Stop it. We finally managed to clear the harbor, which means the rest is up to the engineer's capable hands. Meanwhile, Father has issued us an invitation. As was agreed, he will reveal the means by which Hydaelyn may be contacted. We are to meet him at Aporia when we are ready. Given the vital knowledge she holds, I suggest we leave without delay. It transpires, however, that the Forum's method of speaking with her is not without risks. I am curious to hear what those might entail, but regardless, be warned. Most of those who arrived with the Adamantite have offered to stay and see to any remaining tasks that need doing. The Forum has already asked for my assistance in overseeing the process, so you needn't worry about a thing. Thank you, Tataru. We're off to Aporia then. Is there bunny ears? Am I inside a bunny? There's a bunny inside of me. Why is there bunny ears? Aporia. We are unfortunately not going to be able to proceed. But this is the quest right before we get the quest that unlocks the dungeon. So we've pretty much made it. Kind of to where my goal was for the day. So, awesome. Next stream is a TBD kind of thing. I'm hoping to maybe do it tomorrow. It just kind of depends. We'll see, guys. But, as always, thank you all for swinging on by the stream. We have 28 days and 11 hours and 32 minutes before Dawn Trail. And we are so close to unlocking, or to getting to Dawn Trail with these characters and with the